And we're back. I'm Jack, your British goat, and today we've got the 13 etiquette rules in the US that surprise tourists. I couldn't even think what a single one of this is going to be, so let's go find out. Let's go.
So our parents teach us to be polite, but what you learned as a kid doesn't always apply when you're in another part of the world. So
True.
if you're heading to the US anytime soon, I've got some tips
I
for
would
you
like to be,
on what
so
we
let's
Americans
lock in for
consider
this.
the
Let's
rules
lock
of
in.
etiquette, and some stuff that's totally okay in the US that other countries might consider rude. Let's start off with my favorite, food etiquette. Number 1, feel free to ask for some condiments. If you're eating out and your food is tasting a little bland, it's completely fine to ask for salt, pepper, or sauces to add a little zing to your meal.
This would already be on the table.
As an insult to the chef,
France and
if you start
Italy
adding
would.
a little spice of your own. But don't worry about that in the US.
I won't pause it too often, but no, it's only actually considered an insult if you put it on before trying it. The chefs would have salted it and peppered it before it went out to you. So if you've just put salt and pepper on before eating the meal, that is considered an insult. But salt, pepper, sauces will be on the table anyway. You won't have to
be
ask.
offended or give you weird looks if you ask the waiter for a bottle of ketchup. Even if you're at someone's house visiting, they won't see it as a jab to their culinary skills either. Some just like it spicier than others.
So I think you got that one wrong.
Number 2, always tip. Okay, well, maybe not always, but
If it's good
a rare
service.
occurrence if you don't tip your waiter, hairdresser, cab driver, and so on.
This is crazy
And
to
only
me.
if the service was really awful.
Like,
But
actually,
even then,
let me
a lot
know
of Americans feel guilty about not leaving any tip.
why
The bill
they're
is 15
paid
to 20%
so
of the bill.
little
So
that
get
you would
ready
have,
to do some
their
mental
money
math each
actually
time you
comes
eat
through.
out. I've heard that
The
tipping
tip.
isn't a thing in some countries,
It's not.
especially in East
Be
Asia,
weird.
where restaurant staff always provide good service no matter what. But in the US, it's simply a sign of gratitude that your waiter did a good job, even though they're probably tired, their feet hurt, and they've got a bunch of
In
other
fact, the
tables to
other day we went for some breakfast, me and one of the boys, we went for breakfast. And the lady behind the till, who hasn't done anything yet, other than taking my order, switched the tablet around and asked for a tip. I put 0%. I was like, what the fuck have you done? You've done nothing. I'm paying 30 odd pounds, which is about $50 for 2 fucking breakfasts. I'm not giving you a tip because you've stood there and listened to me say 2 breakfasts, please.
And 2. Number 3,
pisses me
clean
off.
up after yourself at fast food restaurants. Of course, if you're going to the
Yeah,
States,
you would do
I
that over
imagine
here.
a lot of your eating out will be done in fast food
Only
joints.
scumbag
You'll see
benefit
a lot more of
scabs
those
would
than your
have
traditional sit and be served by a waiter types
take
of
it
places.
to the bin.
But anyways, if you're finished eating and your tray is now full of wrappers, used napkins, and
Absolutely.
empty boxes, take it to the trash can and dispose of the garbage yourself.
Again, only scummers would
Most
have.
fast food places don't have a separate cleaning staff for that. It's pretty much always the cashier that needs to find time between ringing people up to go clean up the dining area. So we try to help them out a bit and clean up after ourselves. Number 4,
I think that's a standard
open
thing
gifts
everywhere.
immediately in front of the giver. Now, I was pretty surprised when I found out that opening a gift as soon as you get it is considered bad manners in certain parts of the world. I guess some cultures see it as kind of greedy when you start tearing into a present right away. In the US, it's pretty much the opposite.
Yeah, I think if I gave you a present, I'd want you to
right
open
in
it.
front of the giver. That way, they can see your reaction and you can thank them right there on the spot. There are also no rules
I
about
agree.
using both
I
hands
think it's
or a
actually
certain
quite
hand
annoying
when giving
to-
or receiving a gift. Just grab it and open it already.
Well, why would it? I guess weird.
Number 5, be ready for small talk.
I think I'm looking at this in the sense of British American because that's what we do here on the channel. But again, it's like they're not surprising me. There's nothing here
How
surprising
about that
me.
game last night?
Maybe a
When's
film
this
like the
weather gonna
Middle
let up
East,
already?
maybe, or
Yes,
East
Americans
Asia.
love small talk, so don't be surprised if a stranger just starts chatting
Oh,
with
I
you
love
while you're
small talk. I
waiting in
love
line or
yakking.
sharing an elevator. It could be sports, the weather, traffic, anything, just to have a short, light conversation.
In Albion,
Oh, it's
no
fucking
matter
ads.
where you go
Like in
or
my
what
personal
you do,
job,
your mount will accompany you on your
I work
journey.
mainly with women,
Perhaps you'll
so I've
pick
learned
up
to
some
like
merchant's
bitch and
best
gossip.
friend.
Fucking
I
love
can't really
it.
say why we like talking to people we don't even
It's
know.
honestly my
I mean,
favorite part of
even
the
if
day.
you're sharing a space with someone,
Bitching and
are you just
gossiping.
going to totally ignore their presence? That'd be awkward.
I would though
Oh, yeah.
if I didn't
And
know
you get
you.
asked how you're doing a lot, even by strangers. It's usually waiters and cashiers that'll greet you with a, "Hi, how are you today?" Just answer with "Fine," and you? Even if you're not exactly
Yeah, this has
having a
got to be aimed for
fantastic
people
day.
in the Middle East, like where barbaric cultures. And
Number
shit.
6. Expect a lot
Not
of
that they were.
smiles.
You know what I mean.
First of all,
you know what I'm
let
saying.
me bust the myth that Americans
That wasn't
constantly
a
walk around
micro.
smiling ear to ear. Nobody does that, because that'd be weird. But again, if you're sharing a space and making small talk with a stranger, or maybe someone opens or holds the door for you, they'll
Just say
smile
thank
at you.
you.
And it's polite if you do the same. Cashiers and waiters also greet you with a
Man,
big,
this
friendly
is
smile.
not aimed
I
at
read
people
somewhere
with
that this
like
goes back to our early history as a
civilized
country,
culture,
built by
or he's
people
just
who all
assuming that
spoke
everyone in
different
America's
languages.
fucking
They didn't
rude.
understand each other all that well, so they just smiled. But I still think we just like to be open and kind.
I will
Number
say
seven.
this: if there's any Americans watching this, my reaction for some reason, because you're going to go to the UK, don't do that over here. If you start making random conversation with someone in the street for no reason, they're going to think you're a weirdo. Like,
Respect the bubble.
don't do it.
Now, here's a pretty funny thing about Americans. We're friendly, we love to chat, but we also really like our personal bubble. The unspoken
Again,
rule is
yeah,
to stand
that-
about
that's
an arm's length
normal.
away when you're talking with someone. We're also not
The
too big
normal
on
thing.
touching during conversation, because this can be misconstrued as a way of flirting. Of course, the rule doesn't apply with close friends and family, but still,
Hey, that's
even
considered
then,
flirting. I
most
have
Americans aren't too
women
touchy-feely.
grabbing my biceps all day.
Number 8.
Are they flirting?
And definitely no kissing.
Shit, I don't know that.
I know in countries like Spain and France, people often greet each other with a peck or two on the cheek. There might be some Americans who
hate
greet
that.
the European way, but overall,
I
we
hate
don't kiss
that.
each other as a way to say hi. Again, my
It's
personal
so
bubble is
awkward.
my sanctuary, so don't come in it with puckered lips ablazing.
Because you don't know if I'm going
It's
one or
best to
two.
just say hi, smile, and keep it at that.
As always, we've got a mid-video sub-sesh. If you're enjoying this video or enjoying my videos in general and you're not yet subscribed, come off full screen right now. Scroll down a little bit, you're going to see that beautiful looking subscribe button. I want you to click it. I'm going to give you a couple seconds just to do that because I know you want to. So I'm just going to let you do that. I'm going to sit here patiently. I'm trying to figure out what's on my desk here. I think that's for my mic. Did you hit the subscribe button? If you didn't,
Number 9. Being loud is usually okay. The stereotype of the loud American tourist might ring true most of the time.
That
since
is
we
a
tend
big
to project our
stereotype.
voices, even out in public. It's not that we're yelling all the time, but I'd say we certainly speak louder than people in Europe or Asia. I've gotten some friendly reminder to take it down a few decibels when visiting my friends abroad.
I think that's more of a
But hey,
stereotype
if
there,
you're
isn't
ever in the
it?
States, feel free to laugh out loud or get particularly animated while telling a joke. But of course, there's a time and place for that. You still have to hush down in places like libraries. Shh. Number 10.
That is a
Indirectness
creepy
is
emoji.
politeness. So here's the thing about Americans. A direct, no, I don't want, or like that, is seen as pretty rude. But if an American gives you a polite, no thanks, I'd rather not, or I don't think that's the best idea, that doesn't mean that they're on the fence about it. No.
Right, I want to say this right now. No means fucking no. If you say to me, if someone says to me, do you want to go and do this? And I go, no. That's the fucking end of the conversation. That pisses me off. Oh, it's a bit rude to say no, I'd rather not. No, it's fucking off. I say no means no.
It's no,
Go
even if
yourself.
it's said indirectly and super
Ah,
politely.
stupid
It's
man.
frowned upon to try and convince someone to do something
Yeah,
or
for sure.
change their mind because it's seen as pushy and disrespectful to their wishes.
Maybe I misheard what he said.
Number 11. Sit in the back seat of a cab.
Yeah,
Now,
normal.
this is something interesting I found out about
Be-
Australia and New
Be
Zealand.
weird if you did.
There, it's considered rude to take the back seat of a cab because it's almost like you're showing that you expect to be chauffeured by someone who's lower than you. Well, don't worry about that in the U.S.
It's a job.
In fact, you should ride in the back seat because the driver might give you a weird look otherwise. It's not an elitist thing, and you can still make friendly small talk from the back.
It's
Just respect the
literally your
driver's
job
personal
to
bubble,
drive
that's all.
them around.
Choose business broadband that's like you. Fast, reliable,
So make sure you hit the
and
subscribe
always
button.
on.
One day we might be able to
With an
afford
unbreakable connection
YouTube
to ensure-
Premium.
Number 12. Feel free to keep your shoes on inside.
That's
I had a friend
weird.
from Russia recently asked me, why is it that in all American movies, people are walking around their house with their shoes on? And I just told him straight up, because that's what we do.
Is that because you don't have carpets? And I could be wrong. I've never seen an American home. But that must be the only thing I can think of is you'd keep your shoes on because you don't have carpets. Like, I'd go mental if somebody walked into my house with their shoes on.
Too. Now, there are plenty of families here that don't have a no shoes indoors policy, although I'd say the majority don't.
Well, you
So
would
here's
wear
a
it
good rule of
inside to
etiquette
your
to live by
porch.
if you ever visit an American's home. When you walk in, ask if you should take your shoes off at the door. If they say, nah, you're okay, don't feel bad about walking around their house in your shoes. I know it seems bizarre to most people around the world, but it's A-okay here.
That is weird.
13. It's okay
Excuse
to
me.
keep it casual. Overall,
Wasn't
I'd say
casual
the
sex.
biggest thing about Americans is that
Friends with
most of us are
benefits.
pretty casual and laid back. If you're ever out and about in the U.S., you'll see a lot of people running errands in sweatpants, gym shorts, baseball caps, and even their PJs. But
God,
it's
I
not
could
just about
never.
clothes either. We often keep it on a first-name basis, even with people that are generally referred to more formally in other countries. For example, most of the time your boss is just Jim or Janet, not Mr. or Mrs. Jones.
Again, over here, God no. I do not care who you are. You will never be Mr. or Sir to me. Now, ma'am and miss are women for sure, but a man? Fuck no.
You might start
God,
off more
no.
formally, but I guarantee you that that person will say right off the bat, "Hey, call me Jim." Now, what would be weird is if their name isn't Jim. Maybe it's Howard or Benny. Then what you say is, "Hey, call me a cab." So, are any of these Americanisms different or the
I
same in
mean,
your country?
The comedy
And
shit
to all my fellow
from
Americans,
America.
can you add anything to the list? Let me know down
Because
in
every video we've done so far has some of the worst jokes that I've heard in my life. Look, let me know if you think that down below. Is there anything you want me to specifically check out of the American culture? I'm really enjoying doing these videos alongside my sport ones. So we're going to be doing probably maybe these type of videos 3, maybe 4 times a week. So hit the like button, hit subscribe button. Have a good day. Peace.